Welcome everyone. My name is Pamela Binks and I've been teaching mindfulness-based stillness meditation courses last year at the Tarrogin Neighbourhood House, as well as running weekly drop-in sessions for those of us that have wanted to get together weekly. The Neighbourhood's House staff have been working very hard behind the scenes to find ways that they can reach out to all of our community at this time in a way that can assist us feel a bit connected during this challenging time of isolation, and to provide resources that can assist us navigate and thrive through this time of uncertainty in our lives owing to the coronavirus pandemic. Something that we welcomed in the new year we could never have contemplated. So as a start, we have decided to begin by posting some videos to introduce the principles and practices of mindfulness and to provide new practices each week. Mindfulness has made major differences to myself in my own life, and it's certainly helping me very much navigate these waters that we're in today. Mindfulness is an approach to our lives that enables us to live more fully and more consciously, focused in the present moment of now. But what does that really mean in practical terms, and how can we achieve it? It is a conscious choice that we make to actually tune into our bodies and tune into our thoughts, and to notice how often our thinking mind can be so scattered without us really realizing. By learning and practicing how to focus our attention, we can constantly wake up and bring our minds back to the present moment, to whatever is present in this moment. We then come to notice how often we spend time deep in unconscious thoughts about the past, or worries about the future, and not in the present that we are living right now. Right now, that present is challenging and difficult for all of us. Mindfulness can help us to modulate our response to it, however hard. Mindlessness, on the other hand, causes us stress and to many, maybe a feeling of being overwhelmed. Now more than ever, fears and uncertainties about the future are likely to be present for all of us. We don't need to shy away from that, but we need to bring a level of acceptance to that right now. No, we keep telling ourselves, we can't do that right now. And then we mindfully tune into the reason we can't do that right now. The reason being is that we all have to collectively play our part to stem the spread of this coronavirus and protect everyone from it through appropriate social distancing and restriction on our activities. But how do we learn to be more mindful each and every day? The simplest way, which is accessible to each and every one of us, is to actually tune into your breathing and really notice it by feeling the air coming in and out of your nostrils, by noticing where the air coming in is causing the rising of your chest or your belly, and the falling when you're breathing out. But allowing yourself to really feel the strength and the life-giving force that your breathing provides. Connecting with that mindfully is the refuge. It doesn't change the underlying situation, but it helps us to engage with it differently, more fully and more consciously. It literally gives your mind a breather from mindlessness. Our bodies are always living in the present moment. Our minds, unfortunately, don't. The breath is the simplest and most powerful access point we have to the present moment in our lives. Just this moment, just this breath. Jon Kabat-Zinn was recently talking about helping people that were on the front line. They were psychologists asking his advice on how to do this. And he basically said that the most important advice that you can give them at the moment is to hang on to their breath. Hang on to their breath as if their life depended on it, because basically it does. There are 4 key attitudes that mindfulness teaches us to cultivate, to shift our minds back to the present moment and to help to bring about some peace and stability. The first one is acceptance of the present moment. Acceptance of just what is now, today. As we move through the stages of increased limitation on what we can and cannot do in our daily lives, just stopping and realising that we actually don't have a choice right now, and that the best thing to do is to develop an attitude of acceptance. We don't have to like it, and we probably don't, but we just have to accept it, like many things that occur in our lives. Secondly is gratitude. Mindfulness helps us to focus on what we can be grateful for right now. For those of us that are not sick with the virus, the most important thing that we can be grateful for today is that we are breathing freely, especially when this virus is attacking the lungs' capacity to breathe for so many and even leading to death. This is what is keeping us alive, and always does without us actually noticing. Not only that, we can be consciously grateful that we are living in a wonderful country here, where the air is fresh and mostly unpolluted. That sort of conscious gracefulness opens up our hearts to really what is and what matters. It helps to put the stuff of life to one side. The third attitude is that of impermanence, and understanding the transient nature of our life on earth. The realisation that everything in life is not going to last forever makes it much easier to develop an acceptance of that fact and to learn to let go of things that can upset us that we tend to hang on to. The only moment we know we have is right now. Everything else is not a given. This attitude can help us immensely today as we connect with the realisation that this is the situation right now, but it will not last forever. There will be an end. The fourth key attitude to cultivate is compassion. Compassion both for yourself and for others. Here it is important to distinguish between compassion and empathy. Often we apply empathy by putting ourselves in another person's shoes. By doing this, we actually take on the emotional charge of their suffering in our brains, which can often lead to being overwhelmed and, even worse, an inability to continue to show our care. Compassion, on the other hand, teaches us to be present with another in their suffering and to try to then do something to alleviate it. This may be by doing something practical, an act of kindness, or if that is not possible, by thought or prayer that their suffering may be overcome. As we practice coming back to our breath and applying these attitudes to our daily lives, we make two huge changes to our bodies. Scientific research is showing us this. Firstly, we calm the sympathetic nervous system that has us on high alert with the fight, flight, or freeze response. It moves our bodies to the parasympathetic nervous system of rest and digest. You know, that lovely feeling you have after a really good meal. The second change it makes is to the default setting of our brains, which is the general way we have developed over time to react to the events in our lives, mostly on autopilot or mindlessly without paying conscious attention. We have trillions of neurons in our brains, and shifting to mindfulness causes changes to the connection pathways of those neurons that influence the way we think and react. A bit like taking a different way to go to work from your normal way. It is a choice. We can react without thinking or make a better choice to mindfully respond. That is just one of the gifts that mindfulness gives us. Meditation is just one pathway to the present moment, but it is not the only way. If you can, for now, just learn to tune into your breath, do just that as many times during the day that you remember, then you are practicing mindfulness, a state of wakefulness in the present moment. For those of you who are already practicing meditation, or who'd like to give it a try, we will be posting a meditation practice once a week on the Facebook page, which it's accessible through the YouTube channel that has been established for the Neighbourhood House. This is likely to be a new part of our learning platform for the future, and we're wanting to embrace it now. This week, I will be posting a meditation focusing on just tuning into your breathing. Just each breath, one after the other. If you like, don't even think of it as a meditation, but a practice that you can develop in any way you can to help you be a little more settled during these days. So in summary, coming back to where I started, mindfulness is a practice to constantly bring our focus or consciousness back to the here and now, rather than being unconsciously caught up in the past or worrying about the future. This has never been more important for all of us to help us navigate this current crisis we are all experiencing together. So I hope you enjoy these postings and get some benefit from them. And if anybody has got any queries or any questions or would like any other assistance in this way, please don't hesitate to call the Neighbourhood House. Namaste.